Manchester City have been strongly backed to reach an agreement with Crystal Palace over a potential swap deal involving Mark Guehi and Nathan Ake, with growing confidence in football circles that the move could be completed before the transfer window closes. The Premier League champions are actively exploring defensive reinforcements following a difficult period marked by injuries, and Guehi has emerged as a priority target for Pep Guardiola and the City recruitment team. City's interest in Guehi has intensified after Guardiola suffered a major setback in central defence. Both Ruben Dias and Josko Gvardiol have been sidelined through injury, significantly reducing City's options at the back during a demanding run of domestic and European fixtures. While City possess depth across most areas of the squad, the absence of two senior defenders has exposed the need for immediate reinforcement, particularly with the club still competing on multiple fronts. Mark Guehi, who has been one of Crystal Palace's most consistent performers since joining the club, is viewed as an ideal fit for Guardiola's system. The England international is highly regarded for his composure on the ball, positional awareness and leadership qualities, attributes that align closely with City's defensive philosophy. At just 24 years of age, Guehi is also seen as a long-term solution rather than a short-term fix, adding further appeal to a potential January move. The structure of a possible deal has become a major talking point, with Nathan Ake increasingly mentioned as a player who could move in the opposite direction. Ake has been a reliable servant for Manchester City since his arrival, offering versatility across the backline and providing cover at centre-back and left-back. However, the Dutch international has endured a stop-start season and, prior to the recent injury crisis, was widely expected to leave the Etihad during the January window in search of more regular football. Those plans were placed on hold as City's defensive injuries mounted, with Guardiola reluctant to sanction Ake's departure without securing a suitable replacement. Now, with Guehi firmly on City's radar, the possibility of a swap deal has gained traction. Such a move could allow City to strengthen their defence immediately while offering Crystal Palace an experienced Premier League defender in return. Former Everton chief executive Keith Wyness has spoken positively about the potential deal, suggesting it could represent a great move for Crystal Palace if they were to lose Guehi. Wyness, who served as CEO at Goodison Park between 2004 and 2009 and now runs a football consultancy advising elite clubs, believes Palace may be open to negotiations if the terms are right. According to Wyness, Palace would be securing a proven defender in Ake, someone with vast Premier League experience, Champions League pedigree, and the ability to slot straight into their defensive setup. For a club like Crystal Palace, losing a player of Guehi's calibre would undoubtedly be a blow, but receiving an established international defender in return could soften that impact significantly. I would expect it to go through, Wyness has suggested, reflecting growing confidence among industry figures that talks between the two clubs could progress quickly if City formalise their interest. Palace, while keen to keep hold of their captain, are realistic about the interest Guehi continues to attract and understand that a strong offer may be difficult to turn down. From Manchester City's perspective, the appeal of Guehi goes beyond his defensive qualities. His age profile, leadership traits and familiarity with Premier League football make him a low-risk acquisition compared to overseas alternatives. Guardiola has previously emphasised the importance of defenders who can adapt quickly to his tactical demands, and Guehi's development at Palace suggests he is well equipped to make that step. Nathan Ake's potential move to Selhurst Park would also offer him a fresh challenge at a crucial stage of his career. At 30 years old, Ake remains at a high level physically and tactically, but consistent minutes have been harder to come by at City due to fierce competition for places. A move to Palace could provide him with the regular starting role he has lacked, while allowing him to continue playing at the top level of English football. Meanwhile, Guehi may not be the only defensive addition City are considering this January. Reports suggest Guardiola is also keen to reinforce at right-back, with Brentford defender Michael Cahill emerging as a possible target. The 21-year-old has impressed this season, establishing himself as a key player under Keith Andrews and attracting attention with his athleticism, defensive discipline and attacking contribution from wide areas. Cahill's rise has not gone unnoticed, and City are believed to be monitoring his situation closely. While any move would likely depend on Brentford's willingness to negotiate mid-season, City's interest highlights their intention to address multiple defensive areas in one window. The club's recruitment strategy has often focused on identifying young players capable of developing under Guardiola, and Coyote fits that profile. If City were to secure both Guehi and a new right-back, it would underline their determination to remain competitive despite the challenges posed by injuries. The club has rarely stood still in the transfer market under Guardiola. As the winter transfer window inches closer to its conclusion, the potential swap deal involving Mark Guehi and Nathan Ake continues to capture the imagination of football pundits and fans alike. The ripple effects of such a move would go far beyond just the two players involved, with both Crystal Palace and Manchester City set to experience significant changes in their defensive setups. This second part will dive deeper into the potential ramifications for both clubs, as well as the broader Premier League context. Mark Guehi's move to Manchester City, a new chapter. For Mark Guehi, the prospect of joining Manchester City represents a significant step up in his career. The 24-year-old centre-back has shown remarkable consistency at Crystal Palace since joining the club from Chelsea in 2021. While his time at Selhurst Park has been successful, establishing himself as one of the Premier League's most promising young defenders, the lure of City's global stature and the chance to play under Pep Guardiola would be a move few players could turn down. Guehi's playing style is a perfect match for Guardiola's tactics. Known for his exceptional ball-playing ability, composure under pressure and leadership skills, Guehi would seamlessly integrate into City's high-pressing, possession-based system. Guardiola places immense value on defenders who can step out from the back and play incisive passes, and Guehi's technical proficiency with the ball at his feet would make him an excellent fit in City's ever-evolving system. Moreover, Guehi's leadership skills would also be invaluable at City, a club where defensive stalwarts such as Ruben Dias and John Stones have long provided a backbone to the team. As a natural leader on the pitch, Guehi could form an important part of City's long-term future, particularly as the club looks to build for the next phase of their dominance in English football and Europe. However, his arrival at the Etihad would also signal the end of an era at Crystal Palace. Guehi has been integral to Palace's defensive setup, leading by example both in terms of his performances and the way he carries himself on and off the pitch. Losing him would be a major blow to manager Roy Hodgson, who has relied on Guehi to anchor the backline for the past couple of seasons. Nathan Ake, a key figure in Crystal Palace's rebuild. Should Nathan Ake complete a move to Crystal Palace, it would represent a significant moment in his career as well. While Ake has seen considerable success at Manchester City, winning multiple Premier League titles and playing a key role in their defensive line, his time in Manchester has been characterised by inconsistent playing time. The fierce competition at City, especially after the arrivals of other world-class defenders such as Ruben Dias and Josko Gvardiol, has meant that Ake has not always been guaranteed a starting spot. A move to Palace would offer Ake the opportunity to play regularly and become the key defensive figure at Selhurst Park. Despite his 30 years, Ake still has much to offer, and his versatility could be a huge asset for Palace. The Dutch defender is capable of playing across the entire backline, from centre-back to left-back, providing Roy Hodgson with various tactical options. His ability to play both in a back four or as a left-sided centre-back in a back three would make him a flexible option in the defensive setup. From Palace's perspective, Ake would represent a solid replacement for Guehi, bringing in a player who not only has considerable experience in the Premier League, but also boasts the winning mentality of a player who has been part of one of the best teams in world football. His time at City has seen him learn from some of the best defenders in the game, and that experience would be invaluable at Palace, where he could help nurture young defenders while simultaneously bolstering their defensive strength. Furthermore, Palace would also benefit from Ake's international pedigree, having been a regular in the Dutch national team where he has played in major tournaments such as the UEFA European Championship and FIFA World Cup. His presence could help raise the profile of the club both domestically and internationally, which would be a significant boost in terms of attracting other quality players to the club in the future. The wider implications for Crystal Palace's transfer strategy. If the swap deal goes through, Crystal Palace would not only be losing their captain, but also receiving a seasoned Premier League defender in return. This move could signal a shift in Palace's approach to recruitment. With the club regularly developing young talents who then attract interest from the Premier League's big clubs, Palace have often had to sell their top players to balance their finances and continue their model of smart recruitment. While the loss of Guehi would be a tough pill to swallow, Palace have a history of finding hidden gems in the transfer market. The club's recruitment team has been savvy in recent years, signing players like Eberechi Eze, Michael Olise and Conor Gallagher, all of whom have gone on to shine in the Premier League. Palace could use the funds from Guehi's sale, combined with Ake's arrival, to further bolster their squad, potentially targeting a new young talent who could help take the club to the next level. Moreover, the addition of Ake could offer Palace the stability and experience needed to push for a more competitive finish in the league. Palace have often been caught in the lower mid-table battle, but with the right reinforcements, including Ake and potentially other signings, they could aim for a higher finish in the Premier League standings, which would attract more attention to the club and improve their financial sustainability. The transfer window, Man City's ongoing push for reinforcements. While much of the focus has been on Mark Guehi and Nathan Ake, it's clear that Manchester City are not done in the transfer market just yet. After missing out on some of their top targets during previous windows, including the failure to sign a natural right-back, the club is now intent on adding further depth to their squad. Guardiola has reportedly made signing a new right-back a priority, with Brentford's Michael Guehi, a name that has been linked heavily with the club. At just 21 years old, Guehi has been one of the standout young defenders in the Premier League this season, showing excellent pace, defensive solidity and an impressive ability to get forward. His potential to develop into a top-class right-back under Guardiola's guidance could be an appealing prospect for the City hierarchy. For City, the current injury crisis has only highlighted how important it is to continue strengthening the squad. While the club remains well stocked in most positions, the loss of key players like Diaz and Gvardiol has shown that having a deep squad is crucial, especially when competing on multiple fronts. By securing Guehi and potentially Guehi, Guardiola would have the depth needed to rotate his squad effectively and avoid a similar injury crisis in the future. Final thoughts. The swap deal involving Mark Guehi and Nathan Ake is one of the most intriguing storylines in the January transfer window. While Crystal Palace would understandably be reluctant to lose their captain, the prospect of securing an experienced defender like Ake in return, along with potential reinforcements for their squad, makes the move an interesting proposition. For Manchester City, Guehi offers a perfect defensive solution, and his arrival would provide Pep Guardiola with more options as he looks to maintain his side's dominance across all competitions. As the transfer window enters its final days, all eyes will be on these negotiations. Whether the deal materialises or not, the ripple effect it would create for both clubs could have lasting consequences for their respective seasons and beyond.